So WWE has changed their pay-per-view, and now they have a big issue on their hands. If you didn't know, they changed their King and Queens of the Ring pay-per-view over to Night of Champions. And if you're not familiar with Night of Champions, that means on that night that every single championship on the main roster will and have to be defended that night. Now, that's a smaller part of the issue, but the bigger issue is the location of the pay-per-view, which is in Saudi Arabia. And the reason why that's a problem is because half of our tag team champions, Sami Zayn, is not allowed to enter into Saudi Arabia. And if you want to know why, go ahead and Google that. I'm not going to say that here because I don't know how YouTube does this thing. I don't want my channel shut down. But anyways, yeah, so what half of the team not being there, how are they going to defend those tag team championships? Also, Kevin Owens has had a history of refusing to go over to Saudi Arabia, and there's no part of my body that makes me believe that he will have an issue of refusing to go this time, especially when his tag team partner, his longtime friend, his buddy can't go. So I wouldn't be surprised if he refused to go. But there's a couple of ways that they can resolve this situation, both good and bad. Before I get into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it to get an update every time I upload a video. Now, number one, the main thing that everybody is thinking about is that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they have to drop those titles, which is extremely sad because they had this entire storyline built up to WrestleMania 39 Night 1, and it had this huge emotional moment just for them to have to drop it months, like not even that much longer after they win the tag team championship, due to a decision that WWE made. Because if they kept it as King and Queens of the Ring, they could have had the tournament and they don't need to have the tag team championship there at all. But since they decided to make this executive decision, now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn has to suffer. So that will be the first thing. That will be the most unfortunate thing. But, you know, I guess business is business because they have to appease that crowd and they don't want to ruin a relationship with Saudi Arabia because that's one of their biggest cash grabs. So if you sell someone Night of Champions, you kind of got to give them Night of Champions. Like, you can't sell them TLC with no table, ladders, or chairs. Or, you know, something that doesn't make sense that kind of happens is KFC when they went out of chickens. Like, it's like, that's the only reason why you're here. How do you run out of chicken? Like, I don't understand it. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. Okay, so number two, the other thing they can do, and I don't believe that this is going to happen, but if it does, we'll see. Kevin Owens will have to go into Night of Champions with a different partner being picked by somebody, I don't know, or Kevin Owens will have to defend those tag team championships by himself, which the second one I think is a lot more interesting than the first one. The first one I don't care so much about, but how would they book that to make it believable without looking the other tag team that they face look weak, unless they throw them in there with some semi-jobbers, which I don't want to see that at a pay-per-view, but I guess that's another way they could go. But I don't believe that will happen either way because I think Kevin Owens will refuse to go, but if he decides to go, they really only have those two choices in my personal opinion. Number three, which I think is probably the best case scenario for the both of them, is that they have to drop one of those tag team championships, right? Because we have the draft coming up anyways. So if they drop one of those tag team titles, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, that'll be great for them because they'll be still holding on to a tag team championship while some other tag team will have to wrestle for the belt at Night of Champions, which Saudi Arabia gets what they want. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn gets to keep their belts, so no one's getting slighted at all. I mean the draft's happening anyway, so they have to drop one of those titles. We can't keep it unified forever. It doesn't make any sense to do that. And then maybe WWE will have this match. They'll have Mansoor and maybe Mustafa Ali wrestle against the new champions, or maybe they'll become the new champions, and that'll be great for them to appease the crowd and things like that, which is cool to me because I love Mustafa Ali in my personal opinion, you know. But I think that's probably the best case scenario. I don't know. I can't think of any other like scenarios that would make sense in this situation. If you guys can think of something else, let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much. Salute, peace, have a good day.